Welcome to episode 3 of the BA Coaches Show. I am the BA Coach. This is coming out on April 28th, 2024. This is a solo episode. This was not originally the plan, but here's what I'll tell you guys. It has been a heck of a week, just with, people being sick and trying to get things set up with all these other coaches to get, a guest spot in this week. But we got spring ball going on for a lot of guys. And so now I am recording this at about 12:30 a.m. on Saturday night. You guys are going to see this, but that's okay because that means we can talk about the Nebraska spring game today. But I just got some things to throw out there. So yes, this was not going to be a solo episode. I was supposed to do this episode right now was originally going to be an NFL draft special talking about the draft. Things happen. Just couldn't make it work time wise. And then, like I said, I had 2 or 3 guests that were supposed to be doing this spot right here, and we couldn't make it work. Just like I said, talked to a couple college coaches that are finishing up their spring ball and recruiting. Couldn't make it work. But here's what I'll say. If you didn't check out my social media posts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. May and June are absolutely loaded if you are someone who's going to want to listen to me talk ball with college coaches, high school coaches, whatever. I got 2 college head coaches, a college defensive coordinator, and high school coaches from all over the country ready to go on this podcast. So we got big things coming. Trust me on that. Again, if that's what you would prefer, that's not what this episode's going to be. I understand if that's what you're looking forward to. It's what I was also looking forward to. But May and June are going to be loaded. We're also going to do some special episodes with just me, just because sometimes I enjoy just getting on here and talking sports, because that's what I need. Kind of the plan for today's episode. This is kind of a filler episode. Like I said, this was not originally the plan. There's been storms going on all week long. This podcast, like I said, is being recorded really late on Saturday. This has been pushed back a couple times because I've been trying to avoid the storms. It's kind of starting to slow down right now, but if you guys hear thunder and lightning, just know I am very, very sorry. But I don't know what else to do. I got to get this recorded so I can get this out for you guys. So here's kind of the plan for the day. We're going to go over some of the Nebraska spring game stuff. Obviously, I'm a big Nebraska fan. I know Nebraska fans are going to be listening to this. So I'm going to have a little bit of that going on. Going to do a little bit of a draft recap, some things I like, things I didn't like. Then we're going to finish with your question and answer segment. No idea how long this episode's going to be. Could be like 45 minutes like the first solo episode. Could be like 20 or 30 minutes. I honestly don't know, and honestly, it is what it is. Hey, you guys have all been very supportive, and I appreciate that. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I know this is only episode 3, but I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I'm having a lot of fun getting guests set up. Recording these are a lot of fun, even if I'm not the best at getting all that figured out yet. As you guys know, we had some video issues on the last time. 100% on my end. That was not Trevor whatsoever. That was 100% me. His video was great. It was me. I'm still working on figuring all that stuff out, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I may be, young in terms of, a lot of coaches, but can't get this part figured out. This part's all new. I'm good with, dealing with a lot of the football technical stuff, and I'm still new to kind of this podcast stuff. I've been talking with some people on how to get that better, so may end up with some sort of producer. Been talking with one of my good friends, and we might have that happen, but before we get into any of the Nebraska spring game stuff today, I have something to say. We have some exciting news for Paola Chamber members and local businesses. Are you ready to elevate your brand with stunning headshots? Join us on Tuesday, June 11th at Cafe Latte for a special photo shoot event with Brooklyn Harmon Photography. Get 3 to 5 professional images for just $35 and enjoy $1 off your delicious Cafe Latte meal. But you need to hurry because spots are limited. Book your slot now and refresh your marketing content library in style. Yes, make sure you do that because I will also be there getting a stunning headshot. But yes, the Nebraska spring game was today. At this point, it was like 12, 13 hours ago. But man, I got some things to say. First thing is first. Dylan Raiola is that dude. He is that dude. So our coaches group chat, our Spring Hill High School coaches group chat, I saw one drive of Dylan Raiola, I texted the group chat and said, all I need to see, Nebraska's all the way back. Was that a little overboard? Probably, but I'm also going to say no. Started that drive, 4 for 4, 16-yard touchdown pass, which was beautiful. We'll get into that later. But finished the game, 16 for 22, which is pretty good. 2 touchdowns, beautifully placed ball, and then a 64-yard bomb. He did have 1 interception, but I'm not too worried about that. It hit the receiver in the hands. Was the ball a little bit behind? Yes. I loved his press conference answer basically saying, hey, I threw the ball behind him. That's on me. Love that answer from him, but I can live with that right now. Like I said, true freshman. He came out. He looked the most comfortable. He's a dude. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing is I wanted to see because Matt Rule does this good on how all the practices are pretty much closed for the most part, so we don't see a ton. I wanted to know. I thought Raiola was going to be the dude. I want to see how big of a gap that was between him and the other quarterbacks. I think the gap was pretty significant that they showed today. I think Dylan's going to be the guy, and that excites me. That really does excite me. I thought Harburg looked like a whole different quarterback than when we saw him last fall. I thought he looked way more comfortable. From a coach's perspective, I thought his footwork looked better. I thought he made better decisions, and I'm happy with him. And hey, even Danny, I was happy with Danny today. But hey, so Dylan's first pass when he goes in there, they make a little drive down the field. That I think it was about 16-yard pass to Bonner. Why I'm editing this later, I might put a video of that on the screen right here. Okay. That was a beautifully placed ball. That was a beautifully placed ball. That was, as soon as I saw that throw, that's the throw that gets me excited to go talking to other people. I sent my family text messages and I'm like, hey, Dylan Raiola is the dude. The run game, because the way Nebraska does their spring game is they have a red team, they have a white team, and then they have some guys wearing gray, like kickers and like offensive linemen, just to kind of keep some groups together. So, you're not splitting guys up and all that. Run game looked really good. I think we have some options at running back, which is great. Hopefully, pray to God everyone stays healthy this year and we don't go through a stretch where we lose guys for the season in the same game, back-to-back games. But really hope everyone stays healthy there. But I thought our O-line looked pretty good. And I granted, I know it's a spring game and all that, but from what I saw last year at the spring game to what I saw this year at the spring game, I feel good about that. The passing game looked explosive today. And that looked explosive. That 64-yard touchdown from Raiola to Lloyd today that wasn't the best ball that Raiola threw all day, but Lloyd was so damn wide open it didn't matter. So that was great to see. 'Cause that was something that we saw flashes of a little bit last year. But hey, if we want to get to where Nebraska needs to be, I'm not even talking like big picture things like, hey, we got to be able to attack the field. And I think part of why our run game looks so good is because even against our own defense, you have to respect that the just offensive weapons we have. We got a quarterback that can and will attack down the field, which is going to be great. I'm so excited for this football season to hit. Passing game looked explosive today. The one thing I got to throw out there, though, our special teams got to improve. I know that's kind of a common. I've watched a few spring games this year. God, whose was it? Michigan State's I was watching last weekend, and their kicking or punting, yeah, they looked atrocious. I can't remember the one. I've watched 3 spring games this year where I've been like, special teams looked trash. Kickoff for Nebraska was kind of hard to tell just because they were only thudding it up, but missing a couple kicks, missing a couple field goals was very disappointing. Just because, hey man, that's all you're doing right now. It's not really even live. It's just snap, hold, kick, and we missed a couple. So, but Alvano turned it around. And again, some of those I don't think are all on Alvano. It's a whole operation thing, from snap to hold the kick. So I know the biggest thing everyone likes to do in a missed kick is go scream at the kicker, blame the kicker. But look at these things a little bit more. Yes, it's his job to make it through anyway, but sometimes it's on the snapper. A lot of times it's on the holder, and the holder sometimes, just because he got the ball down doesn't mean he got it down in time and doesn't mean he got it in the right place. But that's either here nor there. overall, I was very happy with the quarterback play that we had. I was very happy with that. Overall, just if any of those three quarterbacks have to go play a game for us next year, I'm confident with it. I feel really good about all three of those quarterbacks. The defense today, I thought looked pretty good, and I thought looked deep today. Meaning, because you got to think, we had the ones defense, we had the twos defense. Um, oh, I think both sides look good, which shows we're deep already. And we rested a lot of veteran stars. Like Nash didn't play, Gifford didn't play. I guess Tommy Hill ended up playing for a series, which it didn't sound like he was supposed to, but he ended up talking Rule into letting him play for a series. So I think defense, I thought defense looked pretty good and shows that we have some depth there, which is great. That's what I want to see. And we were still able to rest our key veteran guys. So I feel really good about the defense. Tony White is a great defensive coordinator. I am so glad we kept him in Lincoln. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the spring game so far. We have more Nebraska talk later on in the show. But Dylan Rayola is that dude. Nebraska's going bowling next year. Mark it now. Nebraska's going bowling next year. All right, so moving on to some kind of NFL draft little recap. Here's some guys a couple teams I thought were some winners of this draft, okay? The Chicago Bears. Okay, going to get Caleb Williams number 1. That's a win cuz that's who they liked. I'm torn on him, but I think he could be a good quarterback for them. And then going and getting a Dunze still. That first round is getting Williams and a Dunze is like, hey, that's a good combo you got. Because Chicago's got some weapons now. And adding Rome Odunze to that mix is a big deal. Hey, I gotta say it. You can say I'm very biased here, and I'll go more into this later, but I thought the Steelers had a really good draft. And obviously, I'm a Steelers fan, so I could be very biased on that. But when I get to some grades that I have for two teams, I'll give you some of my reasons. But I thought they had a great draft. Two teams I had as the losers for this draft was the Carolina Panthers. I just don't. They didn't really do too much to. I mean, to help what they got. They went and got a wide receiver at 32. That was okay when the Bills traded with the Chiefs, and then they gave that pick to. I just don't know why they traded up from 33 to 32 to get Leggett. They got Jonathan Brooks. That's kind of how I feel. I'd feel a lot better. Here's the thing: they should have had the number 1 pick this year, and they didn't because the whole trade for Bryce Young last year. So it's kind of hard for me to give. I thought they lost this draft. I wasn't impressed by them. The other team that I thought honestly kind of took an L was the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said Oakland Raiders. Here's the thing. Do I like the Brock Bowers pick? Yes. Love the Brock Bowers pick. But it's just because of where they were picking. They didn't get a good quarterback in this draft. And that's something that the Raiders are going to have to do. Like you're gonna have to get a quarterback, especially in the AFC West. So all the quarterbacks came off the board. I really like the Brock Bowers pick. I feel like they kind of lost out because they didn't get any of the big quarterbacks coming off the board. I thought the Falcons is kind of interesting. In the time, I thought there was an absolutely dumb move to go get Penix. I halfway kind of, I guess, start to understand the logic now, a couple days removed. Here's my only thing. The Falcons do have a lot of offensive weapons, right? Got Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, right? I think Kirk Cousins can lead them to, they could win the NFC South this year. They can make a playoffs. They can host a playoff game. Who knows what happens then, right? But I'm also like, if you got the number 8 pick in the draft, you gotta fill a hole somewhere. Like you only won 7 games last year, right? Something like that. Yeah, 7 games. They traded it. Like you have to, you have a hole somewhere. If you want to make up like that number 8 pick, you're using on someone who's gonna play for you right now. So that's my only hesitancy on that. But I'm also thinking if they don't like anyone in next year's class, and who knows about the class after that, and they really like Penix, if Penix was a guy they really wanted, they saw a bunch of, those quarterbacks coming off the board, who knows? Couple grades I was going to give out for the NFL draft. I don't even want to have to really talk about them, but I will, just because I know just where I'm from. I do have a lot of Chiefs fans that listen to the podcast. Um, Chiefs draft grade, I give them an A. I do. I think they had a good draft. I mean, here's the thing. Well, before I get into this, a little misconception about me. Do I hate the Kansas City Chiefs? No, I do not. I really like Patrick Mahomes. I like watching Patrick Mahomes play. Travis Kelce, legitimately one of my favorite players in the NFL. I'm not even kidding you with that. Andy Reid is an absolute offensive genius. I will fight with anyone. I think he's the best offensive coach this league has ever seen. Right now, he's the best offensive coach in the league for sure right now. Not even going to take an argument. I don't like Chiefs fans. I don't. And there's a long story. I'm not it's caused a lot of, it's caused a lot of hate in the old old per, old person Facebook world. So we're not going to go there, but I don't hate the Chiefs, but so here's what I'll say. I can give you an honest grade. I'll give them an A. They got a they got a lot faster, and they got some good O line talent. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce the dude's name. The offensive tackle for BYU, the one that just came from there. I'm not even gonna try. 'Cause I'm gonna butcher that so bad, but I think he's gonna be really good for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's gonna be a dude. You guys pick some O line throughout the whole draft. In the later rounds, I think will be really good. So the other grade that I had going down, just because this is for me, this grade's for me because I'm a Steelers fan. I gave the Steelers an A plus. Now, could that probably be more like an A? Yeah, probably. But I'm giving them an A plus because they did everything I wanted them to do. Okay, they got a great first round pick in Fatanu. Great first pick. Um, he's a guy that could end up playing guard or tackle. Really happy with that. But then once that pick happened, I was like, dang, I know there's not really any like first round really good centers, but we still need a center. We need a center. Need a center. What do we go do in round two? We go pick up Frazier in round two. Piece of cake, like it was nothing. Personally, I love the Roman Wilson pick. He's a guy that I'm big on, and I'm glad he's a Steeler now. I just feel like that was a good fit. So all the picks they made, I thought were really good, but I thought getting Fatanu, Frazier, and Roman Wilson, I'm happy with. Those are my big three that I'm really happy with. So yeah, that's kind of what I got for the draft. I know it's not a ton. Um, Before I go in the question and answer segment, I cannot believe I'm kicking myself for not talking about this in the spring game. Here's how you know that I'm doing this all in one take, because now I'm going back and now I feel dumb. For the Nebraska spring game, here's an idea I had. I'm probably going to put out a poll on some of my social media pages. I am having the idea. I am talking with some coaches and people that work at Nebraska. I am working on getting the all 22 game footage from the spring game. I want to do like a little video breakdown of a lot of the things. Some things I like, some things I didn't like, breaking down some O-line play, breaking down Dylan Raiola a little bit on some things I really liked about him. I'm still trying to figure out whether I'm just going to do that like clip by clip and like post those online, or if I'm just going to do a whole podcast. It'll probably be one of those weekday ones where it's just me. So I'm going to have to put out a poll. But if you're a guy that likes X's and O's, that's something I'm going to do. I'm going to try and do a breakdown of that. I'm working on getting all that footage right now, the all 22. Worst case, if I just have to pull up the spring game itself, I'll pull it up. But working on getting the all 22 so I can get that end zone cam. They have a really good end zone cam at Memorial. So I'm going to try and work on that. But something I'm going to throw out there too. So be tuned for that. But yeah, we're going to go to our question and answer segment. Like I said, this could end up being a short episode for the podcast, and that's fine. It's fine. This is really just a filler episode for the great things we got coming up. I got start with some questions from Facebook. In your experience, what's the best form of making connections? So for me, I feel I've made a lot of good connections through the power of social media, right? That's how I've honestly how I got the idea to do this podcast. That's how I've got a lot of the guests that I want to have on this podcast. A lot of the guys that I talk to about coaching stuff every single day, I'll message them back and forth on Twitter. I've never met some of these guys. Never met some of them. Talked to some of them on the phone, had some video calls, with them, but like I've never actually met them. Some of these guys, live in California, live in Texas, live in Arkansas. Never met with some of these guys. But I talk to them all the time, just about, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Talking some different scheme things, and I really enjoy that. So that's for me personally. In the coaching world, I think a big way to make good connections, especially around your local area, is going to as many coaching clinics as you can. I love going to coaching clinics. I had to miss one or two really good ones this year. Kind of bummed out about, but I also went to a couple of really good ones this year. So I think if you're a coach and trying to figure out, oh, how do I make all these connections, networking? Because here's the thing in the coaching world, sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know to get you a spot. And I hate that it's that way, but it is what it is. So making connections is super important, I think, in any aspect of life, but especially coaching. Last Facebook question, good one, came from my dad here. It said, in today's NFL, does it ever make sense to draft a running back in the first round? I say not really, and I feel like that's kind of crazy to think about, but like, I don't see the need. You see so many good guys. To me, the running game in the NFL is more about having a really good O line and having a competent running back. You can do that. I think we've seen enough of that, of guys that get drafted in the late rounds, and then or undrafted at all, come in and tear it up as rookies. Tear it up. They're breaking records or whatever, and you're like, how? It's like they got a really good O line. I think the Dallas Cowboys showed that for a while. Dallas has had like 3 or 4 running backs just be able to step in, dominate. They get a little bit older, bring the next guy in who's and just go. To me, doesn't make sense. Here's the only part where I could see if you have a huge need, like you're like, hey, we need a running back really bad. That's like the one thing holding our offense back. And you have a stud that's maybe a middle to late first round pick. I guess go get him. But to me, I feel like you can go fill up any other need. You can get a competent running back that fits your scheme. You'll be fine. If you need an explosive guy, go find an explosive guy. They're all over. There's not a lack of talent in the football world right now, especially at running back. Running back's a very talented spot, which is part of why I think hurts them. Is I think the drop off between like a first round running back and like a fourth round running back isn't really that much anymore. So I feel like that's part of the thing is you can get some really good value in the fifth round of the NFL draft, or some of these guys are coming in undrafted and tearing it up. So that's kind of why I answered that one the way I did. Um, Now moving on to the Instagram section of the questions. Who do you think the hidden QB gems of this draft class will be? It's hard for me to say the hidden gems of this draft class just because I feel like this was such a top-heavy quarterback draft. So I'm not gonna go through the top couple picks. So I'll just kind of go from you know past that first couple. I think Penix will end up being really good. I think Atlanta is a weird fit because I don't know when he plays for Atlanta. Are we talking like 3, 4 years down the line? Sure, I think he has the opportunity. I really like Penix. I thought Penix had a chance to be the dude from this class, but I just feel like it's a weird fit in Atlanta. But you never know. Um, I think Atlanta's actually, like I said earlier, got some really good offensive weapons. So could end up being a dude there, depending on what happens with Kirk Cousins. I also don't hate Bo Nix to Denver. Interesting. I feel like Denver, I don't want to say panicked, but like they saw all the quarterbacks going. So I think they could read the room a little bit and realize like, oh crap, we need to go get a guy here. I think that's kind of what happened, but I don't know. I really like Nix. I think Nix is either going to be a guy that's really good or he's going to bust. So it's kind of what I think. Next question I have from the Instagram section said 2024, 2025 Heisman winner. All right, obviously my answer is Dylan Raiola, but we're gonna give you a different answer just for the sake of not giving the obvious one. I'm just kidding. Can you tell that I'm on the Dylan Raiola hype train? I got the two obvious answers here: Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck. Those are the two. I didn't check. I assume they're the betting odds favorites. But I do have a sleeper pick for you. I got Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. Being coached by Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is going to be pretty good this year. I'll talk about them here a little bit later, but I think Ole Miss is going to be pretty good next year. I think they're a team to watch out for. So watch out for Jackson Dart in the Heisman race. Last question from the Instagram section said Packers evaluation. So I am technically, NFL owner. So here we go. Jordan Love is the quarterback of the future. We figured that out this year. Jordan Love, solid. nailed it with him. I'll admit, I was one of those guys that questioned it heavily at the time. I was like, what are you doing? You got Aaron Rodgers, blah. Hey, none of that matters now. You got your quarterback. You're good. What do we say? You'll hear me say this on this podcast anytime we talk about the NFL. You either got a quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl, or you need to go fight like hell to go get one. I believe Jordan Love can be that guy for the Green Bay Packers. I really do. I think he nailed it. Here's the thing. Detroit's really good right now. Keep that Green Bay defense strong. Keep the defense strong. And I think in like 2 to 4 years, Green Bay is going to be competing for Super Bowls. I really do feel that way. I feel like they've nailed it with some of their late round draft picks and bringing guys in. And like I said, I think Jordan Love can be really talented. As long as he doesn't hit a big slump here, I think if that was his first year starting, that's what he showed. I think he could really be a dude. So watch out for Green Bay in the next few years. So I got to move over to these questions. These are some of my emailed in questions, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up. This is going to be this will be the shortest episode we've done, but it's all good. Who do you think Nebraska starts at quarterback? I was thinking Dylan Raiola. Now I know it's got to be Dylan Raiola after what he showed today. I thought Harburg would have a chance to stick around in there just because he's the more experienced guy. And he did win 6 games last year. Or 5 games last year, my bad. 5 games last year. And I thought he had maybe a slight chance if Raiola didn't, really step up to the plate. But Dylan Raiola is going to be a starter the whole way through. Nebraska record prediction. Okay, here's the thing. We got to win 6. We got to make a bowl game. What I'm expecting, though, I'm expecting 8. I really am. I'm expecting 8 wins, okay? We got minus USC and Ohio State, okay? Take those ones out. Just say we lose those 2 games. We've got 10 other games in there. We can find 8 wins. We can find 8 wins in that. We really can. I think we can go beat Colorado this year. Maybe not. Take them off. Right? We can go beat like a team like Minnesota for sure. Should have beat them last year. Right? We gotta be able to go win some of these. We can't afford to lose to a Rutgers or Indiana or Illinois. Like we can't afford to go lose to them. We got to be able to beat them. And my expectations 8, but man, if we win 6, I'm gonna be so hype. I'm gonna probably get a Husker tattoo. We're gonna go bowling. I'll try and make a trip out to the bowl game. That'll be so exciting. We gotta win 6, and then who knows? Who do I think wins the Big Ten? I think it's gonna be Ohio State. That was one of the other spring games I watched. Ohio State looks really good. I think they're going to be really explosive. I would have said Michigan, but now the Harbaugh's gone. Harbaugh's gone. I think Ohio State's going to take it this year. I know we got a lot of new talent coming into the Big Ten. I think USC could give them a run with their explosive offense, but until I see some semblance of defense from Lincoln Riley, I'm never going to pick them. That's kind of why I'm feeling the way I feel there. I got Ohio State. I think Ryan Day is now going to be able to. I think they're going to probably go. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to go on a 2 or 3 year stretch where they beat Michigan. Now I think that rivalry is going to kind of go back and forth, and until something crazy happens at one of those 2 schools, I think Ohio State's kind of in that position right now to go do something. Bringing in Will Howard was a good move. Last question of the day. Who makes the playoff this year? Okay, I got 12 teams written down. I got Georgia winning the SEC. Got Ohio State winning the Big Ten. I think Clemson's going to have a big bounce back here. I think Clemson's defense is going to be legit. And in the ACC, I think they're going to be legit. There's 3. I got Utah winning the new Big 12. Iffy on that, but that's who I got winning it right now. So there's my 4th. Those are my top 4. You get a bye week teams. At 5, I got Oregon. I think Oregon's going to be really good. I think they're just going to be kind of right below that Ohio State area. I got Texas. I think Texas. Hey, Quinn Ewers is a dude. I think Texas. Can't say Texas is back, but like Texas is pretty good. Texas is pretty good. Alabama. I still got making the playoff. Here's the thing. Everyone's saying Alabama's taking a step down. And while I don't disagree with Alabama taking a step down, let's also remember where that taking a step down from them. At this point, they'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7. That's kind of a step down for Alabama. I have them at 7 right now. I do have Michigan. I think Michigan is still going to be talented enough, and I do think they're going to be fine without Harbaugh. But I think they're going to also have a little bit of a step down. But I think their talent's just going to be so good. I got them in the playoff. I got Penn State in the playoff still. I think they're going to get one of the at-large bids. I think Notre Dame has a shot to get in there next year. Here's my team, my sleeper team for the year next year. This could come back to bite me very hard. Very much could. But my sleeper team for next year, Ole Miss. The Ole Miss Rebels. I am a big Lane Kiffin fan. I think he does really good. I think he does a really good job recruiting. I think they've done well transfer portal wise. I got Ole Miss. I don't think they're going to win the SEC next year, but I might have them a little low. I have them at the 11 in my spot right now. They should probably be up more like 9 or 8 now that I'm looking at it. Be ready for them. I think they could be. Then the last team, it's one of my at-large bids, goes to the Group of 5 school. I got Liberty in there. I think Liberty is going to win their conference and make it in. They had a really good season last year. Once they brought Kata, I feel really bad. I definitely should know this, considering I'm doing a podcast on it right now. Forgive me, but they're bringing their quarterback back from last season. As soon as I was reading about that, they're bringing their quarterback back. They keeping everything. I think they're going to be. So those are my 12 teams. Who do I think is going to win? When the season, like before the season, I'll do a full breakdown. Like I'm going to go game by game on a lot of these schedules. But who do I have to win it next year? I think Ohio State's my prediction. As of right now, like I said, things can change. I think I got Ohio State right now. But that is all I have for today. This is going to be, like I said, the shortest episode we have had, but it's all good. It's the shortest episode we had, but this was a very much thrown together episode. Like I kind of said earlier, this was supposed to be a different type of episode. So that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said, stay tuned for the really good stuff we have coming on. Stay tuned for that. If you want to hear me talk ball with a lot of different guys, stay on. Make sure you check out social media because I want to start doing some solo X's and O's breakdown of some film, whether that's some high school film somewhere along the way, college film, NFL film. I'm totally down for that. I just got to figure out whether I should do that. Like, here's a 10-minute clip for the day, or if you guys just want me on here for an hour, just looking at, like I said, I am willing to go through that Nebraska spring game, and I'll pick out 20, 30 plays that I want to go through from the all 22, and I'll go through each and every one of them, break it down from at least my coaching point. So, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in to the BA Coaches Show. I will see you guys next week.